What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Investing Bros live show. It is Friday, October 25th, and holy cow, has today been a roller coaster. Of course, we were woke up with Microsoft news. Is Microsoft going to be adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet? Well, then all of a sudden, we're starting to see the reports that the board is leaning towards no. We're going to break that down and more, but within the last hour, I kid you not, we had this whole thing on the title, the thumbnail, to go with the Microsoft story. Within the last hour has been even crazier of a roller coaster. Breaking news that the U.S. government is investigating USDT of different copy. Ooh, am I frozen, T-Shroom? All over the place now with this frozen thing. Anyway, interrupting myself here. They're going to investigate USDT, and then it comes out literally about 20, 30 minutes ago. All of this is fake news. We've dealt with this kind of chaos before. It looks like it's happening again. One thing I will say, just so you guys are aware of, manipulation to these levels of height often come before massive, massive bullish moves. I'm extremely excited. You should be as well. Make sure to go ahead and smash the like button, hit subscribe. But first, you know the drill. We got to roll the intro. Here we go. Mr. T-Shroom, we got a heck of a show we got to go to today. But first, the most important question of the day, how are you doing?
Tim, I'm doing better than I deserve, richly favored by the Lord, feeling blessed. How are you doing today, Tim?
I'm doing good, man. It's been a great day. Hit the gym, made some new hats for some of our high-level members, our Ultimates members. Came home, had a great meeting with you and another friend of ours, and then again, just kind of pouring through some of this news, watching the charts, going absolutely like chaotic right now.
Yeah,
it's a good day. It's a good day to have a YouTube channel where you cover crypto news.
That's right.
I know we're getting a lot of new faces in here today, kind of finding out what's going on. What are the bros' takes on all of the big news that's happening over the last 24 hours? Here's what I'll say. If you are new here, welcome. Welcome to the Investing Bros channel. Hopefully you do enjoy it. Hopefully you do want to stay around. One of our things that we do, though, is we have incentives for you guys to make some money. And those incentives start with, if we get to 300 likes by the 30-minute mark, we're going to give somebody in chat $25. If we get to 600 likes before the end of the show, someone's getting $100. Smash the like right now. Even if you are new, possibly you could, on your first show here, win some money with the bros. T-Shroom, before we jump into the charts and take a look at what is happening, anything you want to say to the folks before we get in there?
Yeah, just strap in, because we just had a pretty big pullback and we hit on some interesting levels that we might have called. So I'm excited to see what's going there on the charts. But let's look at the bubbles first.
Let's do it. Look at the bubble. Sea of red. Why is a sea of red? Because we've pretty much spent all of this morning falling. We started falling when it looked like Microsoft wasn't really going to go with the Bitcoin purchase. The jury's still out on that one. But it got even worse within the last hour, as I said, as crashes. They're sprinkled across every cryptocurrency pretty much, as it looks like USDT was in trouble. What you need to know, though, is the markets are rebounding. They're not jumping back up to levels previously that we had right before the news happened, but they are jumping back up. It's going to be something that's interesting to watch for the next couple of days. And what we're going to do today, because we have such large stories to cover, we're going to be kind of brief with the charts, get into the stories, and come back to the charts. But I want to show you a couple of things you guys need to be aware of for what happened here today with the chaos. The first thing is that Bitcoin fell all the way back down below 66,000. This is a level we told you earlier this week we could end up revisiting. It turns out that's exactly what ended up happening. Why do we think that would happen? Potentially, well, is because the 4-hour chart had this indicator right here. You guys see this blue cloud? It's called the Smart Trail. It is one of my favorite indicators from the Lux Algo package. If you want to be serious about trading and you want to join our VIP training group, one of the ways you can do it is by purchasing Lux Algo today. The links are down below. We use it for every single day we do technical analysis. And this was once again sitting here, had no idea about the news. It didn't know anything about Microsoft. It didn't know anything about Tether, but it was sitting here saying, hey, here's the next major level of support back down at 66,000. Sure enough, that's exactly what happened. It's not just how Bitcoin operated. There's a lot of other coins that kind of did the exact same thing. You can see back over here on Ethereum, we fell back down. This blue line is what we kind of talked about the other day. Hit our targets for a pullback on Ethereum pretty perfectly, but it also bounced off of this major Lux Algo order block. If you were to keep moving on, going to Chainlink, we had a nice little pullback here. Now, this one wouldn't have responded to the 4-hour. I think this one was more of a 1-hour one. Yes, pulling back down to our 1-hour smart trail and our 1-hour order block. Cardano pulling back almost exactly where we told you guys would it the other day, back down to levels of support here around 33 cents. Ultimately, what my big point here is if you're taking a look at the charts right now, the prices fell because of the FUD that came out about USDT. What's coincidental, though, is that all of these prices fell to support levels we warned you earlier this week would be interesting to watch. It's almost as if this whole thing was extremely calculated, well thought through, to give the whales, to give the institutions one more really good shot to buy some of these dips. Do I know the dip is over? Not necessarily, but it's convenient how this news broke. That was terribly wrong. It was broke by the Wall Street Journal, what some people still believe is the respected news source. It broke and brought prices back down to these key levels of support, only to find out within the next couple of minutes, all of this was completely fake news. I put a post out on X earlier today, pretty much asking you guys, does anyone else smell the manipulation? Anyone else smell the composite man? If you're newer to the channel, like I said, welcome. So glad to have you in here. Something that we're really big on, something that we believe very heavily in teaching is the concept of the composite man. It's a theory that was built back in the 1920s by a man named Richard Wyckoff, where he explained to people that when you're trading the markets, you have to understand that it's almost like you're trading against one singular figure, and we're going to call him the composite man. But in reality, what it is it's all of the large institutions who communicate, who work together, who talk, who control the media, and they control the largest amount of liquidity in the markets. You have to understand that they will do everything in their power to shake out the money from every retail investor. Picture the bully on the schoolyard who picks up the little geeky kid, the little nerdy kid, shakes him of all of his lunch money, and as soon as the money stops falling out of his pockets, they're done. They leave the kid alone. The composite man works in a very similar way to where they control the media, they control the liquidity, they will convince retail investors that something is either extremely bullish or extremely bearish to scare people into FOMOing in to the tops of markets or fudding out at the very bottoms, only so that these institutions, this composite man, can make the money off the expenses of the retail investor. I am seeing a lot of things flashing today that says the composite man is hard at work. How do you trade it? You trade it like this. You watch for the fishiness of the stories. You watch how big money is moving. You don't pay attention to the sentiment. You don't trade based off of your emotions. You pay attention to the large players and you watch what they're doing, not what they're saying. In fact, you often do exact opposite of what they're saying. And today is another perfect example of the composite man scaring retail investors into selling their crypto, only to find out this is all fake news. This is all planned. It looks like crypto wants to climb back to the upside. That is something that I'm really excited about today, guys. I just have a very, very good feeling that we are about to see some major bullishness because of a fake out like this. Another thing to keep in mind, along with 4-year cycles and along with history in the Bitcoin market, traditionally, any type of USDT tether ends up being extremely bullish. This isn't the first time around the block. This isn't the first time we've been hearing, USDT in trouble. It's new. It's a new accusation. I'll give them that. But every single time that the market's about to really do something special, there's always some form of an attack, some form of a FUD article, FUD meaning fear, uncertainty, and doubt, that comes after Tether. Why is it so important to go after Tether? Well, Tether is responsible for the most amount of liquidity and transactions, especially on Bitcoin, but several other cryptos as well. If Tether were to actually go down, if Tether were to have a problem, that's not the end of cryptocurrency, but it is a major problem in the short term for the majority of the crypto space. That's why when this news came out, it was so negative. However, this is a strategy used by the composite man. Plant a fake story, create some sort of a scenario to scare retail investors into believing that Tether could be in trouble, only to find out sometimes it's hours, sometimes it's days, this case, a couple of minutes, find out it's fake news and let the markets bounce back up. That is a strategy as old as time, especially in the crypto markets, using this FUD to scare out retail investors. T-Shroom, we're going to take a break from charts, even though I did a lot more talking there than looking at charts. We'll come back to charts. We'll take a look at some of your favorite charts later on in the show, but I think it's time to early jump into these stories, break information, give deeper takes of what we think we're going to be doing with this information. But why don't you go ahead and take it away? And everybody else out there, it's 11 minutes into the show. We already have over 500 people in YouTube, about another 70 or so over on X. Smash the like button wherever you are. Let's give money away today.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. So taking a look here at my screen, the U.S. government launches investigation into USDT crypto firm Tether. This is fake. How do we know that it's fake? Because the first comment here, the first reply from Watcher.guru says Tether CEO Paolo Ardoino denies the Wall Street Journal's report that the firm is under investigation by the U.S. government. So this narrowly leaves the door open to it's possible that this is true, but it's not, according to the CEO, someone who is, there's not anyone in the world more better positioned to comment on the matter than the CEO of Tether. It's fake, right? There's a very small chance that he is for some reason denying it, but at this point we can consider it to be fake. I have pulled up some information. These are previous actions from the U.S. government and its regulators against Tether. So in 2017, CFTC subpoenaed Tether. The Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, issued subpoena to Tether and its affiliate Bitfinex in 2017. The investigation was largely to determine if Tether's claim of holding a 1-to-1 reserve of U.S. dollars for every USD token issued was accurate. In 2019, NIAG investigation, the New York Attorney General's office launched an investigation accusing Tether and Bitfinex of using Tether's reserves to cover up an $850 million shortfall. This led to, in September 2021, where Tether paid $18.5 million fine, so they were found guilty in New York there, and agreed to cease operations in New York. The NIAG findings revealed that Tether's reserves were not always fully backed by cash. So is Tether have a perfect history? No, it does not, right? And that's why a lot of traders and investors, when they saw this headline here, they went ahead and pulled their crypto investments, and then we saw a huge sell-off. Why? Because there is a precedent, and it is that Tether has been in court before, right? Then there's obviously ongoing discussion in Congress and the Treasury as to how to regulate stablecoins, and it is a very hot button issue here in the United States as well in Europe. So very, very big in the past. Today was pretty big. Turns out, as of now, that all clear because the CEO of Tether said so. Now, here's one thing that really surprised me when I saw this headline, Tim. When it first came out, we didn't know that it was fake. What surprised me was a little thing about the stablecoins that a lot of newer folks to crypto don't know about. And that is that Tether and other stablecoins hold a lot of government treasuries. In fact, I think Tether alone not only holds a lot of Bitcoin on their balance sheet to form reserves for their stablecoin that's pegged to the dollar, they also hold a lot of U.S. denominated bonds, 10-year treasuries, and other maturity date treasuries. So this is, at some point you kind of have to say it's in the American government's interest for Tether and other stablecoins to continue to be successful, to perpetuate, because they are buyers of their bonds. They are literally funding the U.S. government.
Right.
with liquidity. So it was a big surprise for me to see that the government was investigating Tether after it has already gone, as we saw. It's undergone some pretty significant investigations in the past from the CFTC and from the New York Attorney General. So, it kind of felt wrong, right? But a lot of headlines feel wrong in crypto especially. But Tim, you also mentioned that this one felt a little fishy to you, and you tweeted out about it. So, it's kind of interesting.
Well, my first thought when I saw it was, okay, if this is true, my first thought was if this is true, this could be troublesome. Right, Tether is responsible for a lot of transactions that happen. It wouldn't be the end of crypto. It wouldn't be the end of Bitcoin. Ultimately, the demand and the transactions would move to something like USDC. That was my other thought immediately, was like, we've seen struggles/war between USDC and USDT. They're fighting for regulatory clarity. Who's going to get to it first? Who's going to more align with the powers that be? So my first thought was like, okay, is someone at USDC behind this attack? But it just didn't seem right. I also remember the times in the past where people made a big deal. I mean, since I've been involved in crypto, T-Shroom, people have been saying that USDT is not going to make it. Some of my favorite bears that I follow on X, and when I say that, is like these are people that I bet you even when Bitcoin hits 200,000, they're still going to say they're lying to you about the bull market. It's never going to happen. There's those kinds of people, right? I follow them. I always want to know what the negative naysayers are saying. They're pretty much riding this wave of told you so. USDT it's been trouble since the very beginning. And yet we just see every single year USDT get bigger and better and more efficient at what they do. We've seen some great things come out. So it was a lot of things I was like, man, this seems convenient time-wise, and it also seems just fishy in the details. And of course, I told you guys, full transparency of how we were doing this. We had a whole series, and we're talking about Microsoft here in a couple of minutes. We had a whole title, thumbnail, strategy for the show focused around Microsoft. Well, then we get this news about Tether. I tell T-Shroom, all right, man, got to pivot. Got to make a new thumbnail, got to make a new title. As we are planning and discussing what that looks like, it flashes up. All of this was fake news. It's a fake story planted by the Wall Street Journal. It is on there. What the details are is too soon to know for certain. What is this reporter from the Wall Street Journal doing? Did he have some form of a conversation? He or she, I don't actually know who wrote the story. Did they have a conversation with someone from the U.S. government that maybe Tether doesn't know about and kind of leak some information early? Did they have a conversation with an executive at Tether and Tether's CEO is not necessarily explaining to us the truth? At the end of the day, there's still more details that need to come out. We're not out of the woods just yet. But I walk away from this whole thing saying, all right, it's a fake or premature story. Very similar to the fake/premature story that was released from a Cointelegraph, we assume intern, at least that was the excuse from Cointelegraph here just about a year ago about Bitcoin ETFs. These fake stories pop to manipulate details or manipulate markets, and it's very, very effective. To me, this seems extremely, as we're on the cusp of breaking out and setting up to new highs, it seemed like the perfect excuse to crash prices back down so that large players could really buy in and get that dip. Even the concept will kind of bleed now, T-Shroom, into the Microsoft story, because the concept of the roller coaster with Microsoft is not as perplexing, but it's pretty darn close. Everyone's raving about Microsoft having the discussion that they're going to put Bitcoin on their balance sheet, right? Bitcoin rallied last night and looked like it was heading back up towards $70,000 based off the Microsoft news. Well, then we wake up this morning after all that hype, and it turns out board members are actually recommending no, we shouldn't do it. What am I doing with these stories? What am I doing with these details? Something gets released in the media that makes the price pump when a lot of people were bearish. Let's be very frank, very honest. Yesterday, the markets were a little concerned. The markets were not really sure what was happening. People were not entering any major long positions, right? So institutions or large players buy in, and then they put some story out there saying, hey guys, conveniently, just so you know, Microsoft discussing Bitcoin. Boom. Price climbs to the upside. People are buying in. People are getting in this morning. They're looking at prices above 68,000 saying, oh, I got to buy in Bitcoin before all of this goes away. Well, then as soon as all of retail investors buy, now they release the details saying, actually, board members are kind of suggesting, no, we shouldn't do this. All of a sudden, now the institutions are selling. They're giving all of their money, their Bitcoin, back to the retail investors, preparing for a big dip. The prices start to dip. Along with this, we get this fake news to accelerate that dip from Wall Street Journal about USDT Tether. It's all it's just a lot of convenient plantings of stories to manipulate people into buying at the wrong time, T-Shroom, and then selling at the wrong time. Ultimately, the future is bullish. The future is to the upside, but any excuse the composite man can come up with to dip prices to buy cheap Bitcoin, cheap crypto, once again, they're going to use all their resources, and in this case, their resources are mainstream media. T-Shroom, I know we're going to pivot there. Let's go ahead and dive in. What are the details of Microsoft? I know I touched on it a little bit there, but we'll go deeper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's take a look. So this was the thumbnail we were going to run with here. Board says no, Microsoft. So let's get into the story here. Microsoft urges shareholders to vote against a proposal to assess Bitcoin as a diversification investment. All right, there's a lot of details here. The National Center for Public Policy Research is a big player in this story. A conservative think tank has notified shareholders of Microsoft that it intends to propose a Bitcoin diversification assessment at the company's annual meeting in December 10th, a filing shows. So let's just stop right there. That's all that's happening. Is there is a think tank that is requesting for an assessment from Microsoft. But it is so significant that it is rocking the media today. It's all over headlines, as well as got the board's attention over at Microsoft, and they've got a response. So let's keep reading. The board recommends shareholders to vote against the proposal. The filing reveals, arguing that Microsoft's already carefully considered this topic. That's illuminating, that they've even considered buying Bitcoin. Past evaluations have included Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, bullish, among the options considered, and Microsoft continues to monitor trends and developments related to cryptocurrencies to inform future decision making, according to a company statement in opposition of the proposal. Another quote here: as the proposal itself notes, volatility is a factor to consider in evaluating cryptocurrency investments for corporate treasury applications that require stable and predictable investments to ensure liquidity and operational funding, blah, 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 blah. Just excuses for not buying Bitcoin. Microsoft has strong and appropriate processes in place to manage and diversify its corporate treasury for the long-term benefit of shareholders, and this requested public assessment is unwarranted, it says. So a little bit of back and forth there. I'm going to highlight this word here. We'll come back to it in just a moment. Let's keep moving, though. The National Center for Public Research, a member of Project 2025, argued that Bitcoin is an excellent, if not the best, hedge against inflation, and that at a minimum, companies should invest 1% of its total assets into the cryptocurrency. Now, here's where it gets a little bit more illuminated. Microsoft's top shareholders include Vanguard, BlackRock, and State Street. So you are literally seeing the schism between Wall Street, pro-Bitcoin, anti-Bitcoin, unfold with this story. Microsoft is Wall Street. It is the biggest. It is one of the biggest companies in the world, and what it does, what it invests in, what it holds on its treasury, the decisions it makes defines a lot of what happens in other corporations. Vanguard is the big bank that is kind of anti-Bitcoin. They're not saying that Bitcoin's bad, but what they don't like is that it is highly volatile and it does not spin off a yield for its investors, for those who hold it. Okay, State Street seems to be on that side as well, although it is more pro-Bitcoin. Obviously, BlackRock is the biggest pro-Bitcoin entity in the world at this point, maybe less than MicroStrategy. But okay, so going back to this word here, Bitcoin is too volatile, says the board. That seems to be their main issue with it. But when we look at who is proposing this assessment, right? It's not even a proposal to purchase Bitcoin. It's a proposal to assess if holding Bitcoin would be a good idea. So it's obviously moving in that direction of buying Bitcoin, but it's not a proposal to buy Bitcoin. And then also you get the fact that the National Center for Public Research is a think tank. It's a conservative. It's a conservative entity that is a member of Project 2025. We're not going to wade into what Project 2025 is, but if you're awake and you're paying attention attention to American politics, Project 2025 is a buzzword for bad conservative direction. Whether or not it's actually bad is you kind of have to
Christian nationalism, extreme measures in the world, in the eyes of the world. It's perceived as this evil.
And I would say the only reason why Project 2025 is a buzzword is because it's 2 words. It's literally the only reason. If you read it and you understand who's proposing it, the Heritage Foundation, which is just another conservative think tank. It's the biggest conservative think tank. It's pretty milquetoast. It's vanilla. It's what conservatives want. Maybe not all conservatives, but it's an initial proposal. Okay, so back to Microsoft, back to Bitcoin. Tim, I want to get your thoughts on all this. Now seeing the political angle of this and how that might actually be playing a role.
Anywhere in these articles we're reading, does it give a date when they officially make their decision, right? So at this point, it was on the docket. Now we're finding out there's certain board members suggesting not to do it. So they haven't officially said no. They haven't officially cast a vote. Did it say when they actually do that?
It does not. I would imagine that it's too early for the vote date to be held. More than likely, this is coming out as it's a press release with general shareholder information. So more than likely, it's more of just a heads up for shareholders. Hey, there will be a vote on this in the next round of shareholder voting. Which, by the way, I'm a Microsoft shareholder. I bought it during the pandemic, and because of the price that I got it at, I'm not interested in selling it. So if I have to vote on this, I'll definitely pass on what that ballot looks like.
Well, listen, Microsoft is one of the largest companies in the world, right? So even that the word you said, volatility. That word volatility is why a lot of people here listening love Bitcoin. You're not going to make a lot of money in assets that barely move. It's the volatility that brings the big gains and the big losses that allow people to make and change their wealth forever with cryptocurrency trading, right? That's why we have a whole membership option that allows you guys to get involved with the trading so you can, no matter whether prices are going up or down, you can take advantage of volatility and make some money. Well, a large corporation like Microsoft isn't going to love that volatility. So before I get into my, they're making a terrible, terrible, terrible mistake pitch, and I'm going to give that here in a second, there's a level of I understand. I understand their concern. To them, if they invested even just 1% and Bitcoin drops by 5%, to me and you, T-Shirm, that's nothing. To Microsoft, that's a lot of money if it drops by 5%. Now, that's the thing of I have a form of understanding as why Microsoft doesn't want to invest in Bitcoin. The stupidity of it all is look at how Bitcoin has performed. Even if you just looked at every couple of years, definitely if you look at every 4 years, but if you looked at year over year over year, Bitcoin has bear markets, but those bear markets happen actually extremely quickly. In fact, most bear markets from a previous top to the bottom of the bear market roughly takes a year or a little over a year. So you have about 1 year out of every 4 that seems to be bad, and everything else in that timeline is extremely it's extremely bullish. It's extreme high levels of profitability. We're watching companies like MicroStrategy become an extremely large company, not really because of anything they offer in terms of a service or a product, but it's because of their heavy involvement with Bitcoin, with what Michael Saylor has built there. They're making a massive mistake. And don't get me wrong, they're going to invest in Bitcoin at some time. The question is, are they going to be foolish enough to wait until there's a massive pump? Are they going to wait to buy at 100K? Or are they potentially, here's the other thing I'll say, T-Shirt, when it comes to our composite man theory, the reason I'm asking for when they make that decision, is it possible this information, these conversations are being leaked because it's not, they want to buy it cheaper and they want to see prices go to the downside? They are not dumb individuals. The people who are having these meetings and the people who are reporting on them, they are not dumb at all. They understand the reports and the quotes that are coming out of these meetings will have massive impact on the markets. And so there's a level that I'm wondering here, T-Shroom, it's too tiny. They didn't do this to manipulate price from 68,000 down to 66,000. That's too minimal. It's a blimp on the radar. If there's a world in which we fall back down to 60,000 or potentially even lower, I'm going to look back at this story and say, I'm wondering if this was a part of Microsoft's plan to want to buy Bitcoin. They just want to buy it back at maybe closer towards 60,000 or even lower. I'm not saying that's definitely going to happen. I'm just saying we should put a pin in this. We should put a pin in understanding and look back Microsoft's going to buy Bitcoin. Every large corporation, every millionaire, billionaire, everybody in the world at some point is going to probably have some form of exposure to crypto and specifically Bitcoin at some point. The question is when, and the question is how does it end up happening? To me, T-Shroom, there's some red flags about this whole situation that just don't necessarily sit right to me. But all of those red flags, despite the fact they could bring some negativity in price, they all still point to long-term upward trajectory of Bitcoin, which is why I am not selling. I'll trade the volatility. I'll look for weakness in the markets to look for short positions. But my long-term hodl bag, my big Bitcoin portfolio, along with other cryptos, it's sitting nice and safe in my cold wallet, and it's not going anywhere because even the bad sides of these stories bring about massive rallies in these markets.
Yeah, so just a little bit of context for anybody who's just a crypto native. They don't think about U.S. equities very often. This is not just a market cap of U.S. equities. This is a top market cap of all assets. So you see at the top here, 18 trillion. You got gold, right? Then you got Apple and Nvidia, which are bigger than Microsoft. But Microsoft is number 4 in terms of assets in general, right? So it is $3.1 trillion. And look, not too much further down that list, we see a couple familiar names. Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin holding is currently 1.3 trillion. And then Tesla, right? Not too far below, 13, just under a trillion. It holds Bitcoin, right? So you can be in the top 15 entities in the world by market cap, including some commodities like gold and silver, and you can still maintain, right? So Microsoft, here's what's happening here, in my opinion, Tim, is it's who's on the board of Microsoft? Is it a bunch of young 35-year-old tech bros? No, this is a bunch of people like Bill Gates, right? Bill Gates is still a very large shareholder of Microsoft, and the people on the board are like him. They're from the old guard of the internet. They're very smart, right? They're very intelligent, and in some sense they're tech bros, but they're not the new wave of tech bros that we see in Silicon Valley. They're kind of the incumbents, right? They're the ones to get to beat or the ones to get bought by. That's Microsoft, right? So I think ultimately it just has to do with being overly conservative and also being hyper focused on AI, right? Microsoft is really interested in AI. They have a huge advantage because they have like a 49% position in OpenAI. Right, so they're focused on AI. They're taking a lot of risk with that too. They're starting up freaking nuclear plants to bring energy to their AI server racks. So they're taking a lot of risk. You can kind of understand why Bitcoin may not be a top priority, but there could be layers of depth to this. Michael Saylor tweeted out today, "Hey Satya Nadella." He's the current chairman and CEO of Microsoft. He said, "If you want to make the next $1 trillion for Microsoft shareholders, call me." And then he's got highlighted the proposal here. So that's pretty interesting there for Michael Saylor, of course, saying, "Hey, you need some consulting here. You trying to gain some clarification? Give him a call." And I think that would be how much money would you pay, Tim, to be able to hear that conversation, what they talk about there?
I probably don't have enough money as for what that would be worth to listen in on. So I don't know what I would pay. That being said, I want to take a break. We're going to jump back into the news, jump back into the conversation. We're going to be generous here. We hit 300 likes, T-Shroom, by 331. I checked at 330, and we're only at like 297, 298. But you know what? I'm going to give a bonus minute. There will be somebody. You got to stick around to the end of the show, but we will be giving away $25 to one of our listeners here today. Stick around to the end. We will be doing that. If we get to 600, though, we still have 30 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. 600 likes. Let's get this more. Someone else will win $100. You don't want to miss out the opportunity. Guys, we have over 700 people on YouTube. We have another 100 and some odd over on X. Hey, guys, on X, keep watching on X. Love those views. Jump in over here on YouTube, smash the like button real quickly, and then stick around on YouTube, and you might win $100. Let's get those likes up. T-Shroom, anything else you have on that story, or is it time to transition? It might also be worth looking at some charts as Bitcoin has been moving while we've been talking.
Yeah, let's take a look at the charts really quick. We have one more story.
Okay. So what's happening here, people were freaking out saying everything was falling. Ultimately, we're still kind of in a consolidation phase right here as we regroup. Bitcoin is kind of coming back up here, back to wrestling with 67 after falling back down again towards $66,500. This is not something people should be freaking out about, though. This is the 5-minute chart at the moment. As we look at these longer time frames, like the hourly and the 4-hourly, as we talked about earlier, we've been bouncing off of major support, things that we were going to probably have to pull back to at some point anyway. So we're continuing to watch as to when we really should get in. If you're a DCAer, if you're asking the question right now, Tim, when should I add to my long-term portfolio? The answer is anytime you like, but this is a really good level to get in here, hovering below $67,000. For my traders out there, and especially in our VIP trading group, if we're wondering when are we entering longs again, while we're seeing signs that support is being tapped here on Bitcoin and several other altcoins, we are going to want to see some confirmation on some of our time frames here, like the 4-hour chart, and maybe starting with the 1 hour. I think we're a little ways away from getting a buy signal. We are starting to round over on our oscillators. It looks like the momentum is slowing down, but let's get a green reversal. Let's get a buy signal in here with a green reversal, positive momentum, and positive money flow. Let's set that flow up to the 4-hour chart, and I will feel a whole lot better about that move kind of coming in. But at the moment, there's still a lot of reasons right now, based off of the catalyst that caused Bitcoin and cryptos to fall, there's still a lot of reasons to be optimistic and bullish in the long term. But I want to show you another chart. People are freaking out about about altcoins right now. I'm going to show you a chart that communicates how you should be feeling about altcoins, and it's the Bitcoin dominance chart that has been climbing over the last couple of days, and today it just continues to smash up closer towards that 60% dominance we have been talking about now for well over a year and a half. Yes, we're squarely in the 59% zone. We're at 59.22%. Despite all this falling, alts got hit a lot harder than Bitcoin. This is something that we have been preparing for. You still should be heavily in Bitcoin over alts right now because it's not yet true alt season. When we top out and we see major reversals, probably more than likely reversals here on the weekly chart, which we're not getting right now. We see a lot of positivity. When we see those reversals come in, then it will be time to maybe take a lot of profits from Bitcoin, move more heavily into altcoins. Alt season will hit like a freight train, but anyone freaking about alts right now, it's simply because of this chart right here. Bitcoin dominance. People are trusting their money in Bitcoin right now more so than others. And the fact, T-Shroom, that we're right now less than 1% away from 60% dominance, and Bitcoin is not yet fully and truly broken out to new highs. I'm anticipating that Bitcoin's going to probably at least get up over 80K, if not push closer to 100 before this dominance is finished. What does that mean? It means that my 60% dominance, that I've stayed on that hill, at no point have I wavered thinking that this wasn't going to happen. I might have been too low. There's actually a very real possibility as we turn on other indicators that we end up going, I'm not going to say a lot higher. I'm not going to say we're going to go back up to the highs we had back in December of 2020 at 73%, but maybe higher up on these price predictions that Luxalgo gives us on the weekly chart. Could we potentially get above 61%, 62, 63? What we're going to watch happen more than likely is Bitcoin on its initial run as people get really excited about it. We break through new highs. We start breaking up above 80, heading towards 100. Just like back in the fall of 2020, the Bitcoin dominance shot up from 62% dominance all the way to 73, and then altcoin season brought it tumbling down. I'm expecting that Bitcoin during the climb will also see the Bitcoin dominance chart climb as well. And again, levels that we're keeping an eye on, at least 60%. But at this point, noticing where we are in the cycle, I would not be surprised, ladies and gentlemen, whatsoever if we do get closer towards that 63% price target that Luxalgo says is on the table right now. Keep your eyes on that. I will say, if we hit 63%, I probably will not wait for it to go higher. I will go ahead and make my mass switch, my mass swapping. I'm heavy in Bitcoin right now. I still am invested in a lot of other altcoins. I prepared myself accordingly, but I'm heavy in Bitcoin right now. Why? Because it's still Bitcoin season. When we, if we hit 63%, T-Shroom, and it's December, I'm going to say, clarifying there, December plus 63%, that is a shoo-in to me. I'm not going to sell all of my Bitcoin, but I'm definitely going to be taking some profit in Bitcoin, moving it into some of our more exciting alts like more Chainlink, more AVAX, more Ondo. Maybe take a look at investing in some other smaller ones we're really bullish on here, like some more Arrow, Injective. If you guys want to know more about how I'm moving that money, how T-Stream's moving his money, and strategies on how to know when and how much to move, that is why you need to be in our memberships, our VIP trading groups. There's multiple ways to get a hold of it. There's membership options. You can purchase these amazing indicators with Luxalgo and get involved with our trading group today. But go check out those links down below and find out more about how you can learn more about investing from the bros. T-Shroom, that's a good look at the charts for now. If we have Q&A time later, we'll go look at some more that people want to take a look at. Let's get back into the news because I know there's some other stories on the horizon as well.
Yeah, nothing too crazy here, Tim. But there's a kind of a little bit of a normie story here from the New York Stock Exchange. You guys may have seen this headline kind of floating around. The New York Stock Exchange, ACRA, is going to let people trade 22 hours a day. So instead of doing 9:30 to 4 p.m., it's actually going to go 1:30 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. This is pretty big. And a lot of folks are speculating that the reason for this is because of crypto markets. They're taking volume away from U.S. equities. And who doesn't like that? Wall Street doesn't like that because they make a lot of money from people trading stocks, believe it or not.
Right.
Jeff Bezos I'm not going to say this word, Jeff Bezos went ahead and denied the Washington Post endorsement of Kamala Harris. Paper reports. That's a pretty interesting one. We'll have our little quick political quarter here. 65.5. Donald Trump has shot back up, and I'm pretty sure it's a result of this headline here. Kind of a big deal. Of course, in case you didn't know, Jeff Bezos owns, I believe, outright the Washington Post.
I know. It seems very strange that a paper he owns prints misinformation about him.
Wait a second. No, this is from CNBC. What do you mean?
No. Okay, go back to it. Go back to the article. Isn't it saying he's debunking the Wall Street, or he used? Hold on. Jeff Bezos unalived Washington Post endorsement of Kamala Harris. Yeah. Okay. I thought you were saying that. Okay, I misunderstood. I thought it was saying that they were claiming he endorsed them. No, it is strange though that a paper he owns then I guess would endorse a candidate that he himself has not gotten on board with.
So exactly. So look, if I'm the Kamala and the Trump team. Campaign team, I'm trying to hit every single person and entity that matters and say, hey, endorse my candidate. Right. And, Washington Post naturally probably would have endorsed Kamala Harris. The headline here, and this is, by the way, this is the top headline on CNBC. Jeff Bezos said, nope, we're not doing that. We're not endorsing Kamala. Maybe that might have something to do with that 44% capital gains tax or unrealized tax, or I can't even remember now. For people with more than $100 million. Last I checked, Jeff Bezos would fall squarely into that category. Tim, are you ready for the factoid of the day?
I am ready for the factoid of the day. And today, the factoid of the day is brought to you guys by Luxalgo. It is our favorite trading indicator. If you want to make some money, whether Bitcoin or any of your favorite cryptos going up or down, you guys watch us use it all the time. It is the number one way to make sure you're making money in the trading world. Go get Luxalgo down below. And again, one of the cool perks, not only do you get the best indicator, we teach you how to use it, and you get access to our VIP trading groups where you can come in and watch me, you can watch T-Shroom, you watch several other people trading and showing you the ropes of how to actually learn technical analysis and get more involved in the trading community so you can make some quick money on the side. Go check out Luxalgo. Again, link down below. Make sure you use our link, by the way, also. Don't just go to Luxalgo and purchase it. You got to use our link to get into the VIP trading group, but also with our link, you get 20% off. You don't want to miss those discounts. Click on it down below. Get signed up today. T-Shroom, I am ready for the factoid of the day. Hit me with it.
All right, Timmy. What was Boeing CEO David Calhoun's total compensation for 2023? Was it A, $15 million, B, $22.6 million, C, $23.77, or D, $40 million in 1 year? Can you imagine making that much? Let us know what you do with that if you had that much money, any of these suggestions. And also let us know what is the right answer to today's factoid of the day. Tim.
What an
What you got?
obscure question from the elf today. What am I even going to do with this information once I log it into my brain for long-term use? I mean, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by the toe. If he hollers, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. We're going to go with C.
Going with
32.
C. All right.
I have no reason as to why. Usually I can kind of reduce some things. I don't think the Boeing CEO should be making any money with all the mistakes that they're making, but I'm sure, he's making something. Let's go 32.
What a hot take, Tim. All right, let's check it out. Let's see.
Holy cow. I had like zero expectation of getting that one correct, but
there's no way.
Sometimes lucky beats perfect.
There's no way anybody could know for sure. But Tim, I genuinely don't. Me and the elf genuinely do not give Tim the answers. But you guys know that because you've seen him get it wrong enough times. Why are we talking about Boeing today? Boeing is exploring an exit from the NASA business. This is from the Bloomberg terminal. Boeing helped put the first man on the moon. Now it wants to get out of the space race. The beleaguered company is exploring a sale of the storied NASA business, including the troubled Starliner space vehicle and operations that support the International Space Station, according to people familiar with the matter. The effort is part of a strategy by Boeing's new CEO, Kelly Ortberg, to streamline the company and stem its financial losses. An early stage. Tim, pull up the Boeing chart, ticker BA, Bravo Alpha. It at an early stage and may not result in a deal. Boeing faces a deepening financial crisis. Its larger labor union has rejected 2 contract proposals and extended a strike that halted most of its airplane production. Meanwhile, Boeing's space and defense projects have been hobbled by delays and costs overrun. It's not a great time to have been holding Boeing. Let's take a look at the charts for it.
It's definitely been falling here as of late. Now, it did kind of come back towards a trending level of support, depending on how you draw this, one way or the other. Let's make this one blue. It is coming back down here. It looks like it's somewhat bouncing off that support level. But, yeah, ever since this, it had a small little peak back in December, and then it's been falling ever since. As we look back here, I will say something to keep an eye on as we're hitting support here on the weekly chart. It does look like a buy signal on Boeing is coming in. Now, of course, news can always debunk all this stuff, but maybe people are going to buy now that they know it's changing hands. Green reversal, bullish momentum, and positive money flow with excessive sellers leaving is something to be aware of. That being said, we also had a buy signal back here. How did this perform in May? Is that one little bounce we had? Let's turn on our indicators here. Let's go. Yeah. All right. So while there's a buy signal, this is one that we had a buy signal as well back in here, and it barely did anything unless we have an order block in play. No, not really an order block there. I wouldn't. I mean, the only argument to buy this is there is a buy signal on here. It is extremely low on the oscillators, but it's been living down there. You technically have bullish divergence with a higher low on the oscillators, yet a lower high. You are on support. So this might be like a wing it thing, but again, from a fundamental standpoint, I don't know how much you can trust Boeing stock to go back up. But who knows, teacher? Maybe this is a move that Boeing needed to right the ship and get their shareholders money again. And maybe, you don't buy when everything's rosy. You don't buy when everything's going very well. You buy when there's blood in the streets. I think that's a good example, a good story for what's happening with Boeing right now. Maybe it's not the worst buy in the world.
Yeah, well, this coincides with a pretty big headline coming out today. This from Elon Musk's Twitter account. Astronauts are safely back on Earth. There's a video of them touching back down. Dominic Matthews and Astro Jeanette and Sasha are back on Earth after a massive, they overstayed their welcome in space. They were only supposed to be up there for, I believe, 9 days, and I think, I can't remember exactly how long they were up there, but I want to say it was almost a month. Could have been more than a month. I'm not really sure, but it looks like they're back, which is great news. Great news. So obviously the big story here is Boeing sent them up, couldn't get them back down, launched a mission to go up and try to get them, and they called it off, and they came back without the astronauts. SpaceX today has returned them back to Earth. So it's obvious, SpaceX would probably be the top bidder, the most natural kind of quarter here to buy the division of Boeing that is getting contracts from NASA. But that would make, I don't know, I mean, it would be Blue Origin, SpaceX, Rocket Labs. There's only a handful of companies now, and they're all taking market share away from Boeing, the incumbent, who I would say this is a much better model for space travel. Obviously, I have a lot of thoughts on it. I'm very interested in space travel. I would love to see Boeing completely step away, because although they have played a big role in the NASA programs historically, and they've done a great job historically, the current leadership just doesn't seem competent, right? So you don't want that in something as important as becoming multiplanetary species. You want Elon Musk leading that charge, in my humble opinion.
Listen, if you have one faulty plane or one major mistake, that's one thing. Mistakes happen. The amount of mistakes that Boeing has made over the last, what we've been very aware of over the last year, but probably dating back even further than that, it's too much to allow the current level of leadership to stay intact. So I think a change in the guard is very, very important if they want to continue to exist as a company. And again, maybe that is what sparks a little bit of fresh money into the stock. So keep an eye on that.
I don't know if you saw the breaking news. There was actually an image of Donald Trump welcoming them back to Earth. There he is, still working at McDonald's. Sorry, we're having a little fun here.
That's good. Speaking of the Donald, remember that today he is recording. I don't know if he's already shot it or not, if it's happening later. He is recording with Joe Rogan at some point today. Have we gotten any news on when that will be released?
I believe it or not, have mustered enough money together to be able to afford a Spotify subscription, and I can verify that it is not yet posted on Spotify. It'll probably be on Spotify first before it's on YouTube.
It'll be soon though. My guess is sometime tonight it will be coming out. That's going to be very interesting. We covered that though earlier this week. Not to go too much further down that road. Wanted to let you guys know with my lucky guess of that Boeing factoid of the day. That's good news for you guys, because that was the third right factoid of the day for me this week, which means we're doing another giveaway. Guys, we're already giving away $25 for hitting 300 likes by the 30-minute mark. We now are going to give away $50 because Tim got 3 factoids right, so we're giving some money away. We still have 9 minutes. Tall order here. We're at 416 likes. We do have 700 people watching, though, right? So we have more than enough people watching right now to get there. 600 likes, and we'll also give someone away $100. Speaking of the giveaways, I think also membership giveaways happen later on in the show, T-Shroom, so we got to make sure you pull that up, get our nice wheel going. But it's time now with some time left. It's been a while since we've had a lot of Q&A at the end of the show. I guess we do a good job usually of integrating questions in the middle. Let's go ahead and take a look at chat and see what people want to talk about, what they want to ask about. Let's see here. T-Shroom sold one of his Microsoft shares for the Spotify subscription. How much is Spotify running these days? I don't know if I've ever had a Spotify.
I think it's like $9 or $12, something like that.
Ooh, okay.
I listen to so many podcasts, and
you don't need to listen to a couple to get that money's worth.
Yeah, and I listen to so much Justin Timberlake.
Good.
Not really.
Yeah.
What's your favorite artist to listen to on Spotify? I'll tell you the last song I listened to if you tell me.
Well, I don't listen to Spotify.
Okay.
So my answer is no one. But if you're going to ask who am I listening to when I'm listening to music, I'll be very real with you. I don't listen to a whole lot of music. When I go to the gym, I'm one of those crazy people who listens to podcasts when I work out. I don't need to get hype. I just go in there and get my lift in. When I listen to music, I'm usually on some form of a worship playlist. I'm not really big into pop culture music. I'll pay attention to it based off what's thrown in my face from social media every day, so I'm aware of some of the hit songs. But no, I'm going to throw on something like Maverick City has all been good.
Nice.
Red Rock worship is really good. The Upper Room is really, really good. I really like some of their stuff as well. And that's my music choices when I'm listening.
I also have not been listening to a ton of music as it appears on my Spotify history, but I have the last playlist I listened to was my Dub Dem playlist, which is reggae music. Specifically, if you're familiar with dub reggae, it's kind of like there's a lot of modern versions of it now, but it's kind of the original reggae before. Anyway, T-Shroom's so into like underground music, yeah.
Speaking of, I think we missed a super chat earlier because I just see another one came in, but I'm glad it's still on here. Istophobic said Europe can't even win their own world wars. I don't know what we were talking about. Were we talking about Europe earlier?
We were talking about Yeah, I can't remember either. Something about Europe.
I can't remember either. Huh.
Europe.
Retro Mike Tech. We love Retro Mike Tech here, by the way. It's Crux of crypto, who it seems to be him and Retro Mike Tech are arch nemesises. Yeah. Don't bring up Caspa when they're in the same room together, unless you just want to watch an all-out brawl. In which case, maybe do bring up Caspa. That might be fun to watch. Retro Mike Tech said hashtag Spotify fund for Sir NSYNC over here. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Bye, NSYNC. Bye. To the FUD.
To the FUD. To the Boeing CEO. Let's see. What else do we have in chat? I literally am listening to the bros right now in the gym. So Morgan Powell, when he works out, listens to the bros. I mean, this is kind of like a podcast, so I'm going to count that. To be fair with you, I actually don't have a podcast service like Spotify or anything. I listen to podcasts that were put on YouTube, right? So I just have YouTube playing whenever I'm.
I got you right here. Crypto Maid said Tesla will outperform them all in the future except Bitcoin. Expect alts to die and Bitcoin dominance to go high forever. That's an interesting
take. I agree with the first half. I think Tesla's going to actually absolutely crush it. There's a world in which Bitcoin dominance stays pretty high. What I'm kind of working with my philosophy of Bitcoin dominance, go to my chart here, T-Shroom, is you'll see in the past.
Y'all got him started.
Massive falls in Bitcoin dominance. We didn't have as big of a fall back here, but with us not getting as high, there's some people thinking, with all these new altcoins out there, we have more altcoins now than we ever had before. I'll also say we have more legitimate altcoins than we've ever had in times past. So there are people out there that will say Bitcoin dominance could fall towards lower levels like 25, 30%. I'm not there, though. I think the camp of Bitcoin dominance staying high means it only falls back to pretty much similar levels of 2021 where we get back to 40% dominance. And to me, that would be a massive win for the powers of Bitcoin to stay up that high. But, hey, who knows? Maybe all of cryptocurrency dies. Maybe Bitcoin is the only one that makes it. Maybe all those Bitcoin maxis were 100% right, and you're wasting your money on all these I'm just kidding. Before I go too far down that trail, they're not right. Crypto is going to do very, very well.
Yeah. All right.
There's a lot of things we use altcoins for that Bitcoin can't solve. We need more than just Bitcoin.
I've got one very silly tweet to read, and then we'll spin the wheel.
Yeah, we have some giveaways. Some giveaways to do.
All right. So this is the silly tweet here from Funky. He said, what if Joe Rogan is trolling us and just has Shane Gillis do his Trump impersonation for a whole show? It would potentially be the greatest JRE of all time.
I might actually thoroughly enjoy that more than I would enjoy actual Donald Trump. If Shane Gillis stayed in character the whole time with no breaks, that would be amazing. I'll tell you what would be even better, T-shirt. Better than Donald Trump or better than Shane Gillis pretending to be Donald Trump. What if it's both the real Donald Trump and Shane Gillis as Donald Trump in the room the entire time? That, ladies and gentlemen, would get 1 billion views in about 2 hours. What say you? What say you about Shane Gillis and Trump being in there?
Oh, that would be so good, man. That would,
dude.
That would be life-changing. I think would probably be a word that wouldn't be too inaccurate. How many views would it get?
Lots.
You already get the comedy fans with Joe Rogan, so you might actually be overestimating. But it would be a lot. It would be quite a bit. 10 million in the first day wouldn't be unreasonable, I think.
Crazy stuff. Well, hey, it is 3:58. Let's do some giveaways here. We got 3 to do. We have our membership giveaway. We have getting to 300 likes by the mid-stream, a $25 giveaway. And we also have a $50 giveaway for the end of the week factoids. I do not think we technically have 2 minutes to get to 600 likes. We're at 450. Highly doubt we actually make that one. But if you guys smash 150 likes in the next minute and a half, then we'll give away $100 to someone else too. T-shirt, let's start off with our members. Let's get the wheel out and give away and find out who's going to get $100 that is in our membership community today. Take it away. Ooh.
It's a cool sound.
You love the sound. We don't have a wheel for our other giveaways, so you guys get to play with this one. Oh, wait, no, don't call it too early. Fuck! You cannot call these things too early. Fox with 2 X's is today's giveaway winner. Make sure to reach out to T-Shroom on Discord. Big clarifier here, guys. If you're in our Discord, whether you're a member, whether you're in the free levels, we don't DM you. We don't have secret investing strategies and things that we want to sell you. If you get a message from someone named Tim or T-Shroom that says that, they're lying. That's a scammer. We always have you guys reach out to us. So Fox, if you guys are in Discord, go tag Fox. Tell him he has won. He needs to reach out to T-Shroom to collect his winnings. Congratulations. When it comes to the trades, though, 2 lucky people are going to win some money. We're going to start off with who's going to make $25 T-Shroom. I'm going to close my eyes, and I'm going to scroll on names here, and whoever I land on is going to be today's lucky winner. It is going to be... Oh, wow. All right, this proves I did not rig it. I don't know if he's going to collect this or not, but it's up to him because he is who I chose. Stupid thing.
No way.
Our resident troll is today's winner of $25. Now, stupid thing. This means you have to A, wake up. B, you have to join our Discord to reach out to T-Shirt to do this. I don't know if that's what you want to do. I'll let you know, stupid thing. You can either collect it or in chat, you can tag somebody else you want to give it to who's willing to join our Discord and everything else. But that is weird that you won something, but welcome.
Our troll.
Again, he's one of the OGs. Stupid thing has been here for a very long time. He's always asleep.
Yeah.
Glad to have you in here. Congratulations, stupid thing. Let us know. All right, let's get $50.
I got you written down right there. Stupid
Factoid
thing.
of the day. Factoid of the day. Who's going to win $50? Close the eyes. Scroll. Blinded. J.R. Block is our winner of $50.
Nice.
He is already one of our YouTube members. I don't know. Is J.R. Block in the membership as well over on Discord? I'm not sure. Either way, he is our winner of $50 today. Stupid thing winning 25. Who is it? It was Fox. 2X is winning 100 from our community members. And then J.R. Block with the $50 winner. He is absolutely in chat. Congratulations to you guys. We did not get to 600 likes, so there will not be another $100 giveaway. That is going to wrap up our giveaways for the show. T-Shroom.
That's funny.
It's 4:01. It's time to wrap out the show. This has been a fun one for sure. Great day for crypto. Great day for a show. If you guys have enjoyed it, make sure, even though there's no more giveaways, smash the like and hit subscribe so you don't miss any of our content. Anything you want to say to people before we wrap it up here, T-Shroom?
Yeah, there was a thought here by Drew P. He said, I lost a lot today. I'm taking a break. So while it's kind of a fun, light mood today, some people got hurt on that fake news from the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah.
If that was you today, right, and you lost money, if you lost money just in general because something happened, just be careful, right? Definitely, if you're having thoughts that you usually don't have, be attentive to those. Reach out to someone in the Investing Bros community. Reach out to someone that you know, like, and trust and love in your life. Just have a conversation. Tell them how you're feeling. If things are, going in a different direction mentally than you're used to. If you've lost money, that we all have lost money in the market. If you're a trader, if you're an investor, and you haven't lost money, then you're not actually a trader or an investor. It happens to everyone. Don't be ashamed.
No.
Get help. No matter how much you lost, reach out, talk to people. For show.
I think it's a good time as we wrap up the show with the kind of Tim thought of the day to tell the story. We've told this story actually several times on the show, but I think there's a couple of you out there that have not heard it. We're very good friends with a man named Kelly Kellum. Some of you guys know him. Some of you love him. Some of you follow him over there with the BitLab Academy. We love Kelly Kellum, have a long friendship with him. But he tells a story of his early investing that it's one of the craziest stories I've heard in how he handled the situation. And the rough details of the story go, Kelly has been involved in crypto and trading for a very long time. But a couple of years ago, I believe it was probably back in 2017, 2018 area, he thought he understood the world of trading. He'd been on a roll of making a lot of money, and he entered a trade with a very large portion of his total portfolio, over $70,000 in one trade. Okay? He set no stop loss, and he set a heavy leverage and ended up losing everything. Now, if I lost $70,000 in one trade, that would be absolutely devastating. To most people, it would be devastating. The way Kelly came away from that, it's two things that I really am blown away with. The first one is the way he talks about that story. And if you ever ask Kelly Kellum, if you ever see him or go in chat on next week when you go watch BitLab Academy, in chat tell him, hey, the bros sent me. How's your trading? What's tuition going? Right. So his story today is I didn't lose money. I simply paid my tuition. What's ironic is that sometimes tuition these days for colleges in the United States can cost way more than $70,000. But his thought was not, I'm over, I'm done, I have to hang it up, I'm never trading ever again. His thought was, wow, what a valuable lesson as to why I should be always setting a stop loss. He wasn't the type to walk away. He was the type to understand that he made mistakes. But if he wanted to be successful, leaving after losing $70,000 makes you a failure. Failing or losing here and there is not the end of the story. The story ends when you choose for it to end. And how you respond to these hardships is what defines if you're going to be successful or if you're going to be a failure. I can tell you very comfortably, Kelly is a very wealthy man who has done very well for himself in his investing journey. But you got to have that understanding. You got to have that humility to say, yep, I messed up. But you also have to have that confidence and that sureness to say, you know what? I'm going to rebuild. And that was devastating. And that was hurtful. But I'm going to choose to view it as a learning lesson rather than to give up on my hopes and dreams. Because I have a little secret for you guys. If you give up on crypto, if you give up on investing, the world's a cruel place. The dollar is a cruel currency. The government does not care about you. The government and the way the world works right now is going to chew you up and spit you out. Cryptocurrency and investing, learning how to do it is one of the last great abilities for people to climb up out of the holes that they've been in, to create that generational wealth that they talk about all the time with the American dream. If you lose a trade here and there, that's going to happen. Set up a stop loss, learn how to trade and manage your risk properly, but never give up a fight just because you lose a small portion of the battle. Live to fight another day. Have that confidence. Say, you know what? Paid my tuition. Now I'm going to learn from that and never make that mistake again. Be more like Kelly Kellum, ladies and gentlemen. Guys, it's Friday. Go touch some grass. Go spend time with family. We will have a Saturday morning show tomorrow. Who knows what we're going to talk about? We have no structure at the moment. Maybe it's just a good old Q&A, a hangout with the bros. But after that, make sure you spend some time with your loved ones because, hey, what's the point of making money in crypto if you're not going to enjoy life as well? Love you guys. See you tomorrow morning. Adios.